Hmm. Morning, social media, and Happy New Year. Uh, Welcome to my messy morning talk here. I want to share information that I gather over the course of my 20 plus years in real estate, share what I know. So I'll try to keep it as short as I possibly can. If you're seeing this on any other site besides Facebook, if you want to see maybe the full version of it, if I had to dial it down, go to my Facebook page. It's just my name, easy to find. So to jump right in, New Year, Texas Tuesday. So what is that? Have you ever heard of it? It's basically a Texas state law. Mortgage foreclosures are only required one time a month, and it's always on the first Tuesday of every month, and it's always held on the county court steps. So what exactly does that mean? Every state's different. They have their own foreclosure laws. Texas happens to have 1 month or one day every month that they are allowed to uh, sell those properties on the court steps. So, and yes, it is just like the movies show. You literally are standing on the court steps in most cases, and there's somebody out there just spewing out property information. People are bidding, sold, etc. So if you haven't seen a foreclosure process like that before and you are interested, I would recommend taking a look. I'd pick a bigger county because the bigger counties are going to have more opportunities for properties and are going to be more active in general. So the smaller the county, the less chance that you'll actually be able to see some action. So there's a lot in the Texas foreclosures. I'm going to kind of break it down in stages if you're interested. Some things that you need to know if you're a noob looking into this type of investing in real estate. The first thing is, one, you need cash. So mortgage foreclosures, you have to have cash in hand. Really, it's a cashier's check, but you have to have the full amount. So if you're looking at properties 100,000, 200, 300,000 plus, you've got to have the cash to back that up. So if you don't have that, then don't go this route because it's required. You got to have knowledge of the eviction process, some sort of knowledge, or have somebody on your team that has knowledge, or you have an attorney that you can work with to do that. Because I would say a lot of these foreclosure properties that you get on the auction blocks are going to be occupied. So you're going to have to deal with that. And that's a whole different process. And there's timelines and such that I'm not going to go into today. So be aware of that. When you purchase the property, you can't go the same day and go to the property and think it's yours. That's not how it works. There's a process. There's a transfer of title, and it takes some time. So don't expect like, oh, I bought it, now it's mine, because there's a lot of back end things that need to take place in order to make it a legal transfer of sale. So be patient. Due diligence, that's a big word that basically just means figure out what's wrong with that property to the best of your ability. So due diligence, you want to know the condition of the property. Is it even there? Was it burnt down? Are there old photos? What's it look like? So you can't actually walk onto the property because it's considered trespassing, but you can certainly do drive-bys, take photos from the street, see what you can see. Don't bother people if it's occupied because you can get yourself in big trouble. Title searches. You're going to want to get title searches, whether you do that yourself or get a title company to do that. You need to know what kind of liens are on that property. There's a lot of people, not a lot, but there's a few organizations that can do foreclosures. You got your HOAs, you got your federal government, you got your mortgages, you got tax sales. All of them have different requirements. So is there a second mortgage on the property? Did you pay off the second mortgage, and there's actually a first mortgage? So you need to know what's going on with the property. Other liens to consider: mechanic liens, contractors that haven't been paid, tax liens. Usually if they're in foreclosure, there's a lot of times delinquent tax bills that could be in play. city liens? Have they had to mow the grass and take care of the property because it is vacant or nobody took care of it? So there's a lot of things to consider and a lot of expenses that you may or may not be required to pay on a foreclosure process. So you need to figure that out. Also, encumbrances on the properties. Are there easement issues? You know, we're in Texas. We got a lot of rural land out here, a lot of properties that have some acreage. So this is where things like this come into play. Are there utility equipment easements? Do you have pipes running across the property and that's why nobody wants it and they let it go? You will find those in your title search. So you want to make sure that you're at least aware of the property because a lot of that's going to affect the value. Is there a big oil rig on the property? Is there huge power lines running through it? So all things you need to consider because it'll greatly affect the value. Speaking of value, you want to do a little research on the community. Where is it located? What are the recent sales activities? What's the values of the property surrounding it? Is there a rental market there? What's the value in rentals? Is it a high populated rental market in a subdivision? So that's going to dictate what your current as-is value could be based on what the ARV value or the rehab value of the property potential. So all of that you want to consider because you never know how long you're going to end up having to hold on to that property if you have to go through eviction processes and deal with mechanic liens and things like that. So all things to consider. But once you get the process down, it gets easier and easier with each house, although each house is going to have its own issues. So if you want more information on foreclosure properties and you want to kind of do a deep dive, let me know. Otherwise, I will try and find something else semi-interesting to talk about another day. Thanks for watching.